Hello guys, this is Starlight Studio and this is part 2 of presenting my own Instagram. So I got the idea to show some digitals before and I'm going to do my traditionals. I might repeat some of the things I said because I just want to touch on some like what my work is or what my process is and like what am I doing, but so for this time, hello, how you doing? I want to focus on my traditional work instead of my digital work, which is what my first post was. Um, I'll try to find that, and I guess I'll link it. Or well, they got rid of the episodes, so maybe I'll create like a highlight. I'll probably create a highlight or something. Anyway, so this is back in 2015, maybe a little bit before. I think I posted it in 2015, but I think I did this before 2015. I want to say this is probably somewhere around 2012 to 2015, somewhere around that time period. So I got really interested in working with live models. So I started working privately with live models. I found a model website where you could hire and work with models privately, and I really liked the idea. I came across several models, some of which were mothers, so I got the opportunity to draw this lady with her young child, and I thought it was pretty good. And I thought it was a pretty good idea. I wanted to do some pregnancy poses, and I wanted to do some breastfeeding poses. So I thought this was a really great opportunity, and personally, I really enjoyed the whole experience, and looking forward to doing more of these kind of drawings in the future. This is something I'm really proud of. The drawing itself is actually really good, I think. I can see a couple of mistakes, a couple anatomy issues. The neck looks a little bit off to me. The shoulder looks great. Um, her hips look a little off, I think. But like it was a live drawing, so it's a little bit harder to get a perfect drawing when you're drawing live. But I think I did a really good job with the shading and the coloring. The toning rather. Um, the baby there looks actually really good. The proportions of a child are actually really hard to do, especially babies. But all in all, I think I did a great job. This is just a drawing. I could have done a little bit better job with her face, and she's laying down, so that was a little bit difficult for me to do as well. But all in all, I really love this drawing, and definitely would look forward to doing more of these in the future. So yeah. Moving on. I've already talked about this drawing, but I'm just gonna show all my traditional work. Um, this is a traditional drawing, so I'm not gonna talk about this too much because I already talked about it before. There are definitely some proportional issues, but mainly here, what I brought this up for is this is the just a hint of my style with the dark background and the dark lighting and the strong contrast. And she looks kind of stiff, actually. I didn't really point that out before. I did a little bit better with the face. The right arm there looks a little bit better than the left arm. Legs look pretty okay. And looking at this again, there definitely needs to be a little bit more waist here, I think. But the hips look okay, I think. The tone for the stomach looked pretty good, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that drawing. Um, I don't do color often. I think this is color pencil. I think it's color pencil. Oh no, this might be oil pastel. Uh, yeah, I think this is oil pastel. Um, Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about this drawing. I think it did a pretty good job. Oil pastel is actually kind of difficult. Um, I I need to definitely practice a little bit more. Like I'd like to do a little highlighting in her face, in her forehead, maybe some highlights on her cheeks. As far as the drawing goes, I think it's actually pretty good. The eyes could use a little work. The nose could use a little bit of work. The proportions need a little bit of help. But all in all, I think it did a pretty good job. I don't have too much to say about this piece. This is kind of a practice piece. Um, so I do male figure drawings. I definitely focus on women more than anything else. And recently I also started doing some child portraits as well. But yeah, I do male drawings as well. I actually really like this piece. Um, this is definitely in my style. I drew it on the lighter side, focusing on anatomy here, focusing on lighting here, the lighting coming cascading over the body. Um, I don't have too much to say about this piece, but actually, I think the anatomy looks pretty great. So, the neck and the head look a little off, but right now, this is really just a gesture drawing. So I'm really focusing on the body and the anatomy here. So, as far as the anatomy goes, and the structure of the body, the legs and the arms, everything looks fine to me. I think the shading looks pretty good as well. Uh, Usually I'm a messy drawer, but I cleaned it up a little bit better here. But yeah, it's all in all, I think the anatomy looks pretty good, and I should probably do some uh, more male drawings in the future, which I probably will be focusing on that. Um, this is an earlier piece. This is supposed to be Marilyn Monroe. Obviously, I would like to probably do a redraw. Um, I don't have too much to say about this piece. Mainly, I like the lighting and the shading. Like, I'm really practicing on my shading and my lighting a lot. But, yeah, I could definitely improve on the facial structure, so I'm going to be practicing portraiture all over again. Um, I did practice portraiture a whole bunch when I was younger, but then I got focused on anatomy and gesture drawing, so I definitely like to focus on portraiture again. Like, this portrait seems better to me than the other one does. Anyway, moving on. I did start doing some child drawings. The anatomy and the proportions of children is different than adults, so that took me a little to get used to. That was a little bit difficult getting used to. All in all, I think this is one of my first ones I did. I think I did a pretty good job. I think I did a pretty good job with the proportions and the structure of the face. The neck actually looks correct to me. Maybe the tilt is a little bit off, and I don't know. There is something bothering me about the neck a little bit, but I think all in all, like the structure and the proportions and the anatomy looks pretty good. The thickness of the neck is definitely correct. The thickness of the neck on this side is definitely correct, and the way she's tilting her head looks mostly fine. I think there's a couple structural issues. The ear is off. All in all, I think I did a good job though. One of my better portraits. Um, I love this drawing. The anatomy looks great. The legs, the foreshortening. I don't do foreshortening very often, but I think it looks great. Her body looks great. Her arms look pretty good. The neck might need a little bit of help, but the head, also maybe a head a little bit as well. Looks like she's like her neck is like shifting upward. I don't know. There's something bothering me about this for sure. Um, Her breasts and this is foreshortening, but I think it looks fine. Um, the face looks like it could use a little bit of work, but this is a gesture drawing again, focusing on anatomy and structure. But I really like the the layout of the drawing. so I don't really focus on the layout very often, but I think the layout here is actually really good. And this is like, I'm not sure. I want to say this is about an hour drawing, but I'm not entirely sure. But this is back in, I think this is back in 2015, maybe a little bit before then. I was working with private model. This is a live drawing. But yeah, anyone who's ever done live work knows that it's a little bit more difficult. This is a live drawing as well. Let me try to zoom in a little bit. I like this one the most, probably. I really focused on her face. I did a good gesture drawing here. The shoulders look good. The back looks good. Her legs look good here. So this one looks probably the best. This is probably my second favorite one, and I love collages. This one could definitely need a little bit of work, and then this one here, where she's laying down, the neck is a little bit too long, but other than that, I think the anatomy looks pretty good. I was trying something here, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was trying, like, getting dressed, like, drawing, I guess, like a movement while dressing, like, she's, either taking off her pants or putting on her pants, something like that. I don't know what I was really trying there, but I think all in all, this drawing is really good. But but more than anything else, I like the collage. I like how I have kind of like a sequence of events here. Like she's waking up, she's getting ready, she's putting her clothes on. Like, I don't know. It's kind of almost like a comic book. Let me see. This is a pregnant practice drawing. Not much to say about this drawing. I like the fact that I was working on these for a little while. The anatomy looks off. I was practicing drawing the belly, the pregnant belly. I do like the kind of abstract look I was kind of going for here. Like I was trying to do something, but all in all, like, I mean, I like the look, but like I would like to work on the anatomy and like the structure a little bit better. The face actually doesn't look too bad, but like the shoulders are off and the structure, she looks really long. It just looks really long to me, so definitely need to fix that. Moving on. Another male anatomy. This is actually really good. Another sort of foreshortening. The legs look really great. The torso looks really great. The chest looks a little off. The pectoral here looks a little off to me. There's a twist in the body. The clavicle here looks a little off. The shoulder looks a little off. The arm here looks a little off. That arm looks pretty good. That head looks pretty good. The neck, not quite sure about the neck, but this was a really awkward pose. So definitely like to practice more of those in the future. And as far as everything, I love the dynamics of this. Talking about dynamic and drawing theory a little bit. Hello, how you doing? You always want to try to do something interesting with your work. You don't want to just draw something. You want to try to draw something and make it interesting. Again, this was back in 2015, and I would definitely like to start doing more of this work in the future. Moving on. This is a really good one. Again, this is back in 2015. This is more of a drawing than a gesture drawing or a sketch. The anatomy looks really great here. The legs look great. The shorts, they look really defined. I love the lighting. I don't do this kind of lighting a lot, and I want to do more of it in the future. The bikini top or bra that she's wearing looks actually pretty good. I feel like I need to define it a little bit better. The neck, something is bothering me about the neck a little bit. The face, something's bothering me about the face a little bit as well. And I think I need a little bit more contrast in the hair. But all in all, I actually really love this piece. It's like one of my better drawings I've done. The way she's sitting was actually kind of difficult for me. Looking at her torso and her hips, that looks mostly correct, I think. Looking at the like line of what do they call that? The line of movement here, which is like a C. I'm kind of drawing it with my mouse here. The line of movement. I think that looks fine. There should be a little bit more of a twist in her body. I think there should be a crease or a bend on her stomach, which I missed. And there probably should be a bend on her hip as well. So, all in all, I think I did a really good job, though. This might deserve a redraw, and like do something with the background. I'm not sure, but anyway, I think all in all, I did a good job. Let me see. Moving on. More child portraitures. I noticed that, especially in the past, and I'm trying to get over this a little bit. I was trying to go for an expression, so I haven't drawn faces a lot. So like I was trying to do something different, like drawing expressions. Excuse me. Um, but what I noticed here is I was really heavy-handed. So as you can tell, the entire page is really dark. It's probably because I was smudging it as I was drawing, so I need to clean that up. All in all, I think this is actually a really good drawing, but I think there are some structural issues with the face. She's tilting her head to the side, so her eyes should be more to the left. Left. The nose looks a little off to me, and actually the whole thing, like kind of like the whole thing. The neck actually looks correct to me, so does the shoulder, and my attempt of drawing a hand there, but you can't really see it very well. I attempted to draw just the beginning of a hat. That's another kind of structural choice. Like I didn't want to draw the entire hat. I just wanted to draw like the likeness of a hat and like kind of cut it off. So I kind of like it and I kind of don't at the same time. It kind of cuts off the page in like kind of an awkward way, but in the same way it like makes you focus on her, which is kind of what I was going for. So all in all, I think this is a good piece, but definitely need to practice more. Moving on. I don't think that one's good enough to talk about. This another anatomy drawing. It's not really good enough to talk about that one. I'm just moving on. Another anatomy sketch. This one's a little bit better than the last one. But yeah, I'm moving on. Not really worth talking about that one. I like this one. The anatomy is definitely off. She's definitely skinny. I was really trying to capture her pose. But what I like here is the colors. I never do color, but I really like the color here. The neck looks off, and so does her head and her face. I think her arms need to be a little bit longer. Not sure. The torso, like this needs a lot of help. But what I do like here is the colors. Like I really like the colors, so I want to try doing more of this in the future. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that one. Here's a good one. So another color piece. I did a good job with the hips and the buttocks. The drapery, I love drapery. I grew up on like Renaissance art and stuff like that, so definitely like to add drapery when I can. The torso looks a little bit off to me. Like the hips look fine, but the torso looks a little bit off. The back and the shoulders look a little bit off, but I like the way she's lying down. And again, I really enjoy the colors. More than anything else, though, I like the energy here. Like there's kind of like a whole, It's kind of a cool, overall cool look here that I was going for, and I don't know, I kind of like this piece. But yeah, there could definitely be improvements in the structure, improvements in the anatomy, and definitely improvements in the gesture drawing. I really like backs, so I think I did a pretty good job on her back, but that's about it. Unfortunately, yeah, I definitely need to do more practice. Moving on. Let's see. I don't know if that one's good enough to talk about. I'll show it real quick. Don't really have anything to say here. The anatomy looks a little off. It's more of an abstract concept more than anything else. I was trying to do something, but I don't think it really turned out very well. Yeah, that's about all I want to say about that. This is another sketch. Moving on from these. Excuse me. This is actually pretty good. More practice drawings, but I like this one. The head looks a little off, so does the neck. I like the way I shaded this. I like the layout though. I definitely like the layout. I don't know why, but I really enjoy doing layouts like these. So I'm definitely planning on doing more layouts like this in the future. Moving on. My attempt on drawing a celebrity. Take a guess of who it is. I don't know if I've really captured her likeness or not. I'll probably leave a comment on who it is later. So if anybody feels like guessing, take a guess. But yeah, I don't know if I really captured her or not. And the structure of her nose is a little bit off. The structure of the portrait altogether is a little bit off, so definitely need to practice my portraits again. Moving on. This was a drawing to a painting that I did later. I think the painting turned out better than the drawing. The drawing's not too bad, all in all. But yeah, I can definitely see, yeah. I can definitely see I need a little bit of practice in my structure seems to be off a lot. So I'm gonna focus on my structure and anatomy for a little while, because I've been drawing gesture drawings for a long time. So that was a notification that I didn't want to turn off. I'm keeping my eye on the time on. I'm gonna keep this on the shorter side. I like this conceptually. I think this deserves a redraw. I'm doing more drapery here, or a dress. I'm not sure which. But I like the concept, and I like the shading. The face looks a little off. The shoulders and the whole upper torso. The bottom part actually looks good to me, but the upper body doesn't. Interesting. So, I need to work on the upper body, I guess. I like this drawing. So, I talked about this the other day. This is my official mascot for, my work. Unfortunately, I feel like I could actually do a slightly better job. But what I do like about this drawing, the nose looks a little off to me. There's actually a lot of mistakes here. The chin, the neck looks fine actually. But what draws my attention to this work more than anything else is, number one, the eyes. I talked about this in my last video, but if you can draw the eyes, nothing else matters. If you can draw the eyes, then you will capture your viewer, and the other mistakes won't be as noticeable. But what I enjoy I love the eyes, but what I enjoy is the way I shaded this. It's not really a cross hats technique, but kind of, sorta. I don't know why, but I really enjoy the way I shaded this. The lighting and the shadows. It's a little bit messy, but it's also kind of clean. The way it disappears off into the distance, the ear needs a little bit of work. The shoulder there looks correct to me. And then notice the planes of the face. So like the forehead curves out and then curves in and then curves out one more time around the cheek and then curves back in towards the chin and curves out one more time. So like this is what I was talking about before. The face is quite I say that word way too often. I need a new word. The face has a lot of planes, and it's not just simply a circle or an oval. There's a lot of planes, and there's a lot of shifts, and there's a lot of curves. So like drawing the face is quite difficult, but I think all in all I did a really good job, but it can definitely improve. Moving on, this anime. I'm not really going to talk about my anime. I originally didn't like this drawing, but I posted it anyway. I think I ended up talking about that. I'm not gonna say more. I'm not gonna say too much about this drawing, but yeah, I do like the coloring, the dark coloring here. Keeping my eye on my time. I shouldn't go on too long here. Moving on. Some more practice work. Not figure drawing. It's a little on the light side, so it might be hard to see. Definitely kind of blurry. Doesn't want to focus. It's hard to keep still. Anyway, moving on. Excuse me. Just a couple of sketches, reposts. I talked about that before. I like this one. Okay, so this is definitely where I improved a little bit. So her anatomy looks pretty good. The arms might use a little work. I actually really like the way I drew this. Her face looks really good. There might be some proportional issues, but all in all, I think I did a really good job. The shoulders look fine, maybe a little bit too long. The waist and the torso looks really good. The way I drew the bust looks really good, and notice that her right leg is in front of her left leg. I like that the line. I really like the I really like the dynamic of this line here. This line that's creating for the hips. I think there should be a little bit more definition in her belly, and I think the belly button is a little off actually. But all in all, I really like this piece. This is actually one of my favorite drawings. The hands are actually a little off. I'm usually proud of my hands, but I think I could redraw these. I think the elbow is a little off as well, and the shoulder should be like here. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the reference, but yeah. And then I drew the hair the way I did on purpose, but maybe a little bit more contrast. Moving on. Let's see. Talked about that piece. I love this piece. Not much more to say. Look at those eyes. Like I said before, if you can capture the eyes, like the rest, like this doesn't matter as much. like capture those eyes. I like this piece. Anatomically, I think it did okay. Could definitely be improved, but for some reason I like it. I don't know why. I like the way it's kind of unfinished. The pose is actually pretty good. The legs could use the whole thing could use a little bit of work, but all in all, I think it did a pretty good job. But for some reason, I really like the way this turned out. I can't even necessarily put my finger on it. Excuse me. This one turned out pretty good. The leg is off again. I need to work on my legs. The arm looks a little off too. I think I did that one already. Moving on. The face on a tilt can be difficult to draw. So if you haven't practiced it enough, then I encourage you to practice it. I've reposted some of my drawings. I like this one. It's simple, but it looks correct. The arm looks a little off. The neck is actually very long, but I think that's correct. The head is off, not the neck. The arm looks correct though. And her torso looks correct. I think all in all this is really good. It's like not like I feel like when I'm off I'm not too far off, but it's bothering me. Like I could definitely fix it. You get the general concept though. So this one I was a little bit more constructural, and you can see like I did a better job when I need to do a little bit more construction when I'm drawing. Like make sure, like I really need to focus on my anatomy and my construction. But I actually did a pretty good job here. I think I've just been working on gesture drawing too much. Gesture drawing and fast drawing. So like I was just focusing on that too much. The arm is off. Like this whole thing is off. Moving on. I like that drawing. A cute baby. I think I did a really good job here. One of my first attempts to draw a baby. I think I did a good job. Cute tubby baby. Anyway, moving on. This is alive. I actually think I did a good job here. Her arm is disappearing into the pillow. I think this arm needs to be a little bit thicker. The face looks really good. And the body looks really good. The legs look really good. Maybe a couple mistakes and a little bit more contrast on this side. And I can clean it up a little bit. It's hard to keep this still. Anyway, keeping my eye on the time, so I'll have to end soon. Let's see. Moving on. I reposted it a couple of times. I want to talk about like my favorites. I love this drawing. I think the anatomy looks really good here. The shoulder looks a little off, and there's a couple things. There's a couple things that need to fix, but I like this drawing a lot. Moving on. think this is another big drawing, but I think I did a really good job on the upper body. Like I did a really good job on the upper body, but I think I need to fix the back here, the torso a little bit, and then like the hip and like the lower body. Like I really need to work on my lower body. Note to self, work on the lower body. Like everything from the waist up looks fine, I think. Waist down, not so much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So like the waist, like right here. Like if we cut it off here, I think that looks good. And then like the rest, not sure. Something looks off. Like I think there needs to be like a curve here. I think the legs should be like here. If you can see my mouse, the buttocks looks okay. I think like maybe a little bit more curve there, and like I don't know. I have to look at the reference, but I think I did a really good job here. 2017. Shark. Need to do more animals. That's all I need to say about this one. I do a really good job with animals. Like I just need to do more of them. This is not a drawing, but it is traditional. This is old. This is 2004 or 2005. But I did a really good job. Moving on. I like this drawing. I kind of like this drawing. Like the way it is. And I kind of like this drawing. The way it is. But for some reason, I think I messed up on this one. I'm not sure. Like the leg, actually the opposite. Like the legs look fine, but like the upper body doesn't. I think her back needs to be here. Where, like if you can see my arrow. Anyway. I did a good job on her hand though. Moving on. I like this drawing. I don't know why, but I do. First of all, it's in pen, which the anatomy looks pretty good. Same drawing. Again, for some reason I like it. The arms are off. Everything else looks fine though. Excuse me. I already talked about that drawing, so I'm not going to get into that one. I love this one. I love the energy here. Moving on. I like this one. Okay, so step one. Okay, so here's a good structure drawing. And this is like step 2. Gotta keep my eye on my time. Sorry I keep on saying that. Step 3. And I did a really good job with this drawing, I think. 2019. Looks like I improved a little bit. Step 3. Step 4. I like this one. It's simple, but I like it. moving on. I like this one. I'm trying to do abstract. I really like the way this turned out. And then the finished one. I did a great job here. The anatomy looks pretty good. The neck might be a little off, but all in all, I think I did a really great job here. The torso looks great, and then the legs look great. And there's a little bit of foreshortening going on. This is 2019, so definitely, yeah, it looks like I definitely improved. I have to say, it looks like I definitely improved. This was a hard drawing. Her pose, for one thing. I like how light it is. And this thing does not want to focus. Anyway, moving on. Since my phone doesn't want to focus. Okay, I like this drawing, but the anatomy is definitely off. The neck, I do like this drawing. It's because it's pen. I like the pen. Anyway, moving on. Don't want to focus on that one too much. I don't draw men often, but when I do, they look awesome. So I actually am better at drawing men than I am at women sometimes. Like, the anatomy looks fantastic here. His muscles, the bone structure, maybe a little off, like here is. This is supposed to be a likeness of somebody. I don't know if I captured that likeness, but I mean, it looks like a good drawing, and I like this. I like the lighting, and I like the color. So, very good. I like this drawing. The hands and the hair. The face looks a little off. The shoulder, maybe like a little off, and her chest, her back a little bit too. The eyes. I need to work on them a little bit, but like, you can see what I mean. Like, if you capture the eyes, you're golden. There you go. It's hard to keep still. Very hard to keep still. I'm trying to keep still. I have to get going. I have time to talk about one more. Let me see. Painting, but I don't think that's the finished one. I didn't like this one at first. It kind of grew on me. Plus, I like to show my mistakes. Let's see, I'm going to talk about one more. I already talked about that one. Let me see. One more. Oh wow, I love this drawing. This is older, but I did a good job. I just love this drawing. Nothing else more to say. Anyway, moving on. One more that I can like really talk about. One more. I did that one already. I could like that one, but I don't know if I like it enough. Let me see. What about a newer one? I think I talked. Well, that's digital anyway. Come on. Let me find one more I want to talk about. And on a strong note. Here we go. We'll end on a male drawing. Let's see. It's really blurry. There you go. The structure looks definitely off. I did a good job on the anatomy. The shoulders look a little off. The muscles look pretty great. That hand looks pretty good. His face actually looks pretty good, actually. Like, notice how curvy his torso is and how curvy his legs are. So I think I did a pretty good job here. I like the color. It almost looks blue. I was going for kind of like a Rodin, kind of a thinker, kind of a, and this is a funny joke, I guess. I gotta get going. I gotta end with this one. But guys always do like Hercules, Superman, Hulk. They always do the same poses. So what I wanted to do is capture the softness of the guy. Like, they can be calm and peaceful warrior. That's what I was going for. As an artist, I prefer the masculine form. Like, if I'm gonna draw a guy, I want him to be strong, muscular, nice physique, sculptured, stuff like that. So I want to really study the body. So I'm a lot more flexible when it comes to women, but when it comes to men, I need I need anatomy. Otherwise, it's just not interesting. In general, guys are kind of boring to draw because like they don't have a lot of things going on. Like the breasts, for example, make a woman look very attractive, and so does the hips. There's a lot of curves and forms and shapes going on with a woman. With a man, unless he has muscles, there's not a lot of going on. So there's very straight. Everything's so straight. And I've mentioned this before, but the man is not straight. Even if he's not muscular like this guy, he's still not straight. There's still a curvature to the torso. There's still curvature to the legs. There's still curvature to the arms. There's still curvature in the shoulders. If nothing else, most men have very detailed shoulders, so you can definitely pull out something interesting with the shoulders and that whole T, the T drawing. But I don't know, like I said, I grew up with Michelangelo and Rodin, and I want a well proportioned, well sculpted, muscular physique. So that's what I'm looking for. And when it comes to women, I actually like a muscular physique as well. So like a ballerina, muscle, or a swimmer, or a gymnast, or so that's kind of what I'm looking for. That's the kind of the aesthetic that I'm looking for. But I definitely like the peaceful nature, like he's kind of sleeping. I like the pose. There's some things I need to work on here, but all in all, I think I did a really good job, and I think that's a good place to end. Alright, guys. Take care.